You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that then. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? It is the Wyatt Williams, and we have an awesome episode here for you today. Big X Sports Radio, like I said, Man Hour Nation, what is going on? Awesome stuff. We got some NFL draft. We've got some NBA, of course, with the Knicks. We're going to talk all kinds of cool stuff. But before we bring on the guys here, I want to mention, be sure to like and subscribe here. You can catch us on Big X Sports Radio Monday through Friday. And, here we go. Mr. Buckheister, come on in, man. How we doing today, sir?
Why, I am doing great, man. I am letting you take the reins tonight. We are taking that towel, we're dabbing it behind your ear just a tad bit because you are still wet behind the ears. It is. Oh yeah. It is time to grow up into big boy land here. So hopefully we don't get too derailed because we do got the man here on tonight.
Oh yeah, the man,
teacher himself.
The Wisconsinite, the also Green Bay Packer fan, Mr. Torrey Anderson. How are we doing, sir?
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Where am I? Because this is just, way unusual for me. I'm just glad that we're important tonight because we weren't important enough for Wyatt last night. Yeah, I just don't know what I'm supposed to do with my hands.
Where do I put him? I love that movie so much. Talladega Nights. Let me just take a whole spin on this. Any movie that Will Ferrell does involving sports, undefeated. Just undefeated. You've got Talladega Nights. Semi-Pro is incredible. Absolutely love it. But what am I saying? Any Will Ferrell movie is incredible. I mean, it's you can't go wrong.
He's had some ones that weren't very good.
Yeah, he's had some one-hit wonders.
Well, okay. The one he actually had here recently, what was it called with the avalanche and stuff? What was that one called? Downhill or something?
I don't know. Did you ever see Blades of Glory?
I actually like Blades of Glory.
I think so. Kicking and Screaming, that's another sports one I didn't think of.
That was a good one.
Kicking and Screaming is hilarious. But we went and watched this. Me and Nikki went and watched this. It was for a little movie date. And I was happy to spend the night with Nikki, but I wasn't happy that we wasted our money on probably the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. It was horrible. It is the worst Will Ferrell movie that I've ever seen in my entire life. There was no point in it even existing. I forgot what it was called. It was that bad. We left the theaters.
The movie is called Downhill?
Yes, something like that. Downhill, okay. down something. But yeah, no, it was absolutely horrible. I mean, terrible. And I wouldn't recommend it to go see it on my worst enemy.
He's had a lot of really good movies. So, Tori, let me ask you this. What are your top 5 Will Ferrell movies?
Ooh, top 5 Will Ferrell. Ooh, Semi-Pro's one.
Yeah.
I should say that. Step Brothers has got to be one. Step Brothers 1.
I was about to say.
Semi-Pro 2.
Come on.
Yeah, you can't get much better than... I think I quote Step Brothers at least 3-4 times a day.
Oh, yeah.
Day.
Right.
Call me Nighthawk.
Old School. Love that movie.
Yes. You're my boy, Blue.
Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank.
That's actually Tori every Thursday night after the live show. Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank.
We're streaking to the core.
Look, hold up here, Frank.
So there's 3, Tori. So you got Step Brothers, Semi-Pro, Old School.
What the Land of the Lost?
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's like a dinosaur movie. It was good. It was funny.
It's a remake. It's a remake of the original, and it's actually pretty funny. And then the other guys. The other guys is probably.
Ooh, the other guys is so good. I'm so glad Tori went first because now I've actually got an idea. So one is Step Brothers for me, without a doubt. I think Step Brothers is like top 5 for me as for movies. Like, just take Will Ferrell out of this. Like, straight up, it is.
I forgot one.
And I'm about ready to say it. Drew just said it. Okay.
Yep.
Number 2 is Elf. Okay. Elf.
Elf.
Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? I mean, that's another movie that I quote all the time. I mean, constantly. It's incredible. All right. Then you've got Semi-Pro
here at the Buckeyser household. 100%. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's a staple in every house. It's an American staple. Then you've got Talladega Nights, and then Old School, and that's it. That's 5 for me. I just thought about that. That's 5. Yeah.
So, I mean, there are so many movies to choose from, guys, but you guys are getting about some of the most funniest movies out there. How about the Daddy's Home? The one with Mark Wahlberg in there. And then the movie that he did with Kevin Hart was that Get Hard, where he's like a cop and he gives him like a freaking wood gun. It's just like because they make him shoot him.
Oh, guys, we forgot one of the best ones too. Anchorman.
Yeah.
That was
Anchorman was awesome.
Anchorman 2 was kind of.
He's like, I'm blind.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Oh, God.
He's been in some really good movies, but he's been in some really bad movies, too. Like, Downhill, Holmes and Watson was pretty bad.
Yeah, Holmes and Watson sucked. I was not a fan of it.
And then The House.
Blades of Glory was not good.
The House was okay.
I like Blades of Glory. Tori, don't be dogging that one.
Kicking and Screaming is hilarious. Like, I just,
pretty good. Yeah.
No, but Daddy's Home. Oh man, especially is it the second one that has like John Cena and Mark Wahlberg's in it, of course, and then Mel Gibson's in it.
Yeah,
and they go
Mel
on
Gibson's
Christmas.
The dad.
Yeah,
he's like, "Hey kids, you want to hear a joke?" I'm not gonna say what the joke is, but yeah, no, and then he's like, "Whoa, stop it."
So let me ask you guys this. Let me ask you guys this question. So I went out to eat here the other day. Actually, to a night we went out to Pizza Hut, and they put these little stickers on the boxes saying "sealed for your protection," right? And I got to be sitting here thinking, I'm like, how are you sealing this food for my protection? You're still touching the outside of the box. You still touch the food when you put it in the box. Like,
it's a safety valve. It's just
like
it makes you feel better.
Well, it's just like at my school. Not going to say any names, but the teachers, like once a month, I think, have a get together, and it's all over Zoom. And I'm like, why don't all of you just go into a room together and have a meeting there? And they're like, oh, because of COVID. I'm like, but students travel through the entire school through your all's rooms. So if you're gonna, it's wild. It's crazy. I mean, it's so weird. So like, you can't, I guess teachers can't pass it to teachers, or they can, but students can't pass it to teachers, I guess now. I don't know. So they've got the medical science and I don't. So
it is just like that. It's just like you didn't have to wear your mask when you had your football helmet on. Like the helmet kept the COVID in and it wouldn't let it out. But
those 3 bars across the front of it, and the 4 open squares.
I promise you, Tori, when like we were playing football this last season, our athletic director and the health department person, whoever she is, she said, if you guys have your helmets on, you don't have to have your mask on. We're like, what? That makes perfect sense. And then they made us stand on these dots for contact tracing.
That was so stupid.
But I'm like, but you don't know who they're around when they're on the field. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but whatever. It's just like, okay, cool. cool.
It was so weird. Like, and you mentioned the dots. The dots was weird too. Like, I don't know. It was all so odd. Like trying to call in the games and stuff and seeing how of course you were a coach, so you got to see it a whole lot more than I did. But like, I got to, call games all across the state and see how everybody else handled it. And like, not saying any names once again, but the school that you were at just was more odd than everywhere else. I felt like I didn't see the dot system anywhere but at your school. Like that was the only place I saw it.
What is the dot system? I have no clue.
So there's dots along the sideline. So say you have 53 members for your team. You have 53 dots, and everybody has to stand on their dot. Everybody has an assigned dot for the whole game. You can't switch dots. That's your dot.
You get like a 5-yard penalty. The ref's like,
No, it
5-yard
was
penalty.
You get a COVID yard penalty.
Here's what happened. So those dots were 6 feet apart, front, back, side to side thing, right? And then if the kids got too close together, our athletic director would pause the game. Hey, kids, spread out. We are too close. Like I could not have meetings.
Wait, now could they huddle on the field though?
Yeah, they could huddle on the field and they could tackle each other and they could kiss each other and bite each other and call each other names. But then on the sideline, we had to have our mask on. And
they could shower together after practice, all that stuff. But you can't. You got it. It's the dots, man. You better not separate those dots. Okay, if you separate the dots, like it's a cardinal sin at this point. Like
get off my lawn. I'm old.
You know what the worst thing was, Tori, about the whole thing? Is like I could not have meetings after the series to like make adjustments and stuff like that without the kids being like on their dots. So like I had to hold up this big board and shout, "Hey, you suck! You're doing good! No, you do good! Yeah." Dude, it was horrible.
He hit guy? He hit guy, coach?
Yeah. No, you go home. We don't need you no more. No. No. I've only told 2 kids that, and they're both playing Division I football right now. So
no, hey, speaking of though, I got to go to watch Zen play, and there was like, I know we've talked about it a little bit on the show and stuff, but like it was really cool to get to see Zen in the Ohio State gear out there at the shoe playing, and whenever he went in, there was this like moment of silence between our entire friend group that was there. Everybody just like was staring at the field. Like this was a really cool moment. But it was cool to get to see Zen, out there and play. He got to play against some of the best talent, and he did really good. He had one mess up, and man, this is why I also know that Zen is going to be successful. Is like, when he messes up, he dogs himself over it. I mean, he gives himself crap about it. So he texted me. He gave up a sack on like his first play in, and he texted me after, and he was like, "Dude, I gave up a sack. I can't believe I did that." And I'm like, "Dude, calm down. It was your first Division I play. Like, it's okay. You did fine after that. You did great." Like, but he was harping on himself and stuff, and that's another reason why I think he's going to be really successful at what he does. He's a good critic of himself. But with that being said, we are going to head to break. We will be right back to talk some more of the Man Hour. We're going to have some NFL draft coming up. We'll see you back in 2 minutes. What is up, Man Hour Nation? It is the Wyatt Williams. We're back here. We've got some NFL draft coming up for you. But hey, before we get to that, I want to tell you, hey, be sure to check out manhourradio.com, as well as we're on Big X Sports Radio every single day, Monday through Friday. And with that being said, we're ready to get back to the sports here. Bring it on the boys. You see him there at manhour_Buck and at manhour_Tory. Gentlemen, we had an awesome opening to the show. Y'all ready to talk some NFL draft?
I'm ready to listen to this beat, man.
Right? No, it sounds good, man. There you go, Tori.
And then it just dropped the F word. Congratulations.
Of course it did.
Right.
But hey, speaking of the NFL draft, everybody knows that first pick is Trevor Lawrence to the Jags. Everybody knows that second
to
pick.
The Patriots.
Oh, God. I know. And then the second pick, of course, we've got the Jets, and everybody highly speculating right there is going to be Zach Wilson. If not, everybody highly speculates that it will be Justin Fields. Y'all got Justin Fields?
Yeah, I got Justin Fields.
I don't know.
Zach is trash. Zach is trash.
But Tory does have Justin Fields' stock dropping a lot here since the epilepsy.
Yeah,
I know. That was actually crazy.
But there again, like we talked about last night, though, too. It's if NFL teams were that concerned, this would have came out a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think, it came up in somebody's report. It was going to come out anyways. He said, "Yeah, I'm epileptic." If other teams are like, "Man, we still want this kid," like.
It's probably like a really mild case of it. Like he had an episode like when he was a little kid, like one time. I bet if it was that big of an issue, they would have brought it up a whole lot sooner than this,
right.
And it would have reared its ugly head by now. Speaking of Justin Fields, two teams that are highly in contention for him sit at the 3rd and 4th overall pick. The 3rd overall pick, of course, the San Francisco 49ers. They traded up for the Miami Dolphins pick there. The Miami Dolphins, of course, trade back to 6th, and the Eagles trade back to where they were at, I believe they're at 12, which they are. We'll talk about that a little bit later, too. But also at the 4th pick, it's Atlanta. Atlanta, another heavy favorite to take a quarterback, and Justin Fields is a name there. But we'll start with San Francisco first. The 3rd overall pick, Mr. Buckheister. Who goes there and why?
So, well, first things first is I did have the San Francisco 49ers drafting a quarterback, but Wyatt, me and you went out to eat, yesterday, right? Over there at and then we saw some breaking news coming across the screen that the 49ers signed Jimmy G till 2023 with a no trade clause, correct?
Yep.
So that got me kind of raising some red flags. Are they
don't know why they'd ever do that.
Yeah, but are they actually going to draft a quarterback in this 3rd overall pick, or are they looking to move out of that 3rd overall pick now because they gave up quite a bit to move up those 3 spots, right? They obviously gave up their 6th pick, and then I think it's like a second pick as well in the second round.
Yep.
But so. For them not to really know because the rumors are that they don't know what they're going to do yet. Like there have been rumors that they're going to get Mac Jones. They're at Justin Fields and Trash Zach's both second pro days as well. But everything's pointing towards Mac Jones. But I am looking for them to probably look to trade out of that pick. They are looking to do a draft day, the movie type of thing where they moved up and they're going to be like, hey, we want 2 first-round picks for this pick. And there's going to be somebody that is probably going to bite. But if they're going to stay there, I think you have to draft a quarterback. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And everything's pointing towards Mac Jones. You have Jimmy G there for 2 more years with a no trade clause in his contract, so he is going to be the starter. And I think Mac Jones has the most. Trey Lance has the most room to grow, but Mac Jones will benefit the most of sitting behind somebody and learning the system and learning the ropes, and then possibly may even have some pretty crap couple years, and then he slides in there, and they got a number 1 overall pick at left tackle. They got a brand new receiver. They got so there's time for them to build. So I'm going with the Mac Jones at number 3.
So, you mentioned the quarterbacks and stuff. While we were sitting there and we saw it come across the screen, breaking news, my first question was Kyle Pitts, but then I realized, oh no, they have George Kittle. There's no reason for them to go get another tight end. He's young, right. And he is one of the top tight ends in the league. So,
but
you don't want but here's the thing I'm getting at though. a big name that's been mentioned all offseason to go second overall was Penei Sewell.
Right.
Do we maybe see Joe Staley just retired? They need a tackle. Do we maybe see them go up and get him?
As soon as you said that, that's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, Sewell sitting there, he's been going, of everybody, he's been sliding anywhere from number 3 to like 16 in a lot of the mock drafts. And I don't see him going outside the top 10 ever.
There's no way.
With Joe Staley's retirement, I could 100% see them taking him. It would make all the sense in the entire world.
Well, they just re-signed Williams, so that's a big addition for tackle. If he can stay healthy, he's one of the top tackles in the league. But, we've seen his, you mentioned his draft stock has kind of gone up and down. I think we can kind of credit that to, there's always been this stigma that you can't take an offensive lineman too early, but when you have Quentin Nelson, who went with the 6th overall pick just a couple of years ago, and he's the best offensive lineman in the league right now.
Who's got that stigma? There's no stigma on linemen.
There has always been a stigma that you cannot take a lineman too early.
Overall. Joe Thomas went number 2 overall. There is a lot
Chiefs, drafted the guy from Michigan number 1 overall, Schwartz, right?
No, and there's been some over the years, but that's always been the criticism for everybody. That's the first thing they said about the Colts whenever they drafted Quentin Nelson at the 6th overall pick. Oh, you can't get a lineman that high. There's been plenty of people who have said that over time, but I think that Quentin Nelson has broken that in a way because he's the best lineman in the league. And I think that Sewell...
It was broken way before that by the names. Yeah. Joe Thomas is a Hall of Famer. He went number 2 overall. Orlando Pace is a Hall of Famer. He went number 1 overall. That mold was broken way before Quentin Nelson was probably even born.
So why? Just to kind of piggyback on kind of what you're saying here. Have you ever seen an offensive lineman be a bust in the NFL? I can't think of any. Right?
Not really.
Robert
Gallery. I mean, maybe like Tony Jake Matthews. Maybe Jake Matthews didn't shape out to what they said he was going to be. He was a number 1 overall pick.
Those are very few far in between though.
He was like 3 or 4.
Okay,
but he was still top 5 pick, which is still so high. But also one of the stigma that the linemen have is that there are 5 per team, right? So you have more room to draft. So therefore, there are more quality linemen like in the draft. There are only so many great quarterbacks in the draft. So therefore, we have 5 good quarterbacks in the draft. So those are the reason why it's kind of like a supply and demand type of thing. Why lean your head back so your headphones don't echo.
Sorry.
But so like that is why the quarterbacks always go first, and that stigmatism is there that the linemen don't like a lot. You don't draft the lineman that high. But when you have once in a lifetime generational talent like a Penei Sewell, and your line sucks, why not? But with that being said, that kind of adds to my point that the 49ers will probably move down out of that pick because Tori, you said you seen a mock draft of him going as low as 16, right?
Yeah.
But I don't see him going past Cincinnati, so they'll probably slide back to what Cincinnati's drafting 7 or 8, right?
They're 5th.
Fifth. They're 5th.
Okay,
They're right
so,
after the Falcons.
So maybe they won't move.
I can tell you this though, if the Niners don't go QB at 3, if they stay at 3 and don't go with a quarterback, the Patriots will make a move and they will get a quarterback. I can promise you that right now. The whole reason why the Patriots haven't made that move yet is because they're waiting till draft day and they want to see what everybody does. I promise you. Bill Belichick has got some card up his sleeve right now that he is holding, and we have no clue what it is.
I do.
But
Jordan Love coming on the piece of paper. He's traded for Jordan Love, baby.
I would be fine with that, and I think that would be a good move for them. But I think he's waiting to draft day to make that decision too, and I think Jordan Love is a draft day decision if that does come, which would be cool because I would love for us to have the 12th overall pick. We could really get a nice weapon or like Rashawn Slaughter to add for protection for Aaron Rodgers, but we're not speaking about the Packers right now. I will get totally derailed, so we're cranking it back here. But with like I was saying, if they don't go quarterback at 3, I really think that the Patriots make a move because I think that's why the Patriots haven't made that move yet is because they're waiting to see what everybody does. And I still think there's a huge chance that they take a quarterback at 3, and I think it's going to be Mac Jones, and that will be the biggest mistake that they made. But then again, They make all kinds of cool mistakes at quarterback out there in Niner land. You know, I mean, look at all the stuff that they've done. Over the last couple of years.
The last couple of years, they had Joe Montana, Steve Young, Alex Smith.
Last couple of years, Joe Montana.
So?
Joe Montana was like the 80s and 90s.
They drafted Colin Kaepernick, which had a good couple years.
Then they just paid Jimmy G all that money, and he's been hurt pretty much the whole time and hasn't really done anything.
Jimmy G has only had 2 losses when he plays. 40 to Niners.
But he's had 2 seasons where he's been there for 3 years and has only had 1 healthy season.
I think he's 23-2 as a starter though for San Francisco.
But he's also got an incredible defense backing him too that carries, and a lot of weapons around him too.
So that matters.
So what you're saying is that Jimmy Garoppolo was not a good quarterback.
No, I don't think he is. I really don't. I think he'd have been a good quarterback in New England if Tom Brady would have been patient and let him learn. But I think he got shipped out way too early, and I don't know. I really don't think he's that good.
How long did you want him to sit as a backup? He was like a backup for like 8 years.
No, I didn't want him to sit as a backup. I wanted him to eventually take over in New England. That would have been the best thing that ever happened to him if he would have stayed there and then took over. But then again, you know, we saw Tom Brady stayed for a whole lot longer than what they thought they would. So he wouldn't have sat this long. He was going to eventually move, but I think that the best thing for him was to eventually take over New England. I don't think him going to the Niners was good.
How do you think he would have been more healthy at New England?
Well, I mean, he didn't lose a single game in New England.
He also played, 3 games?
No, he played, what was it? I think it was 8 his entire time.
Oh, 8-0.
But still, I mean, 8-0, that's a good record. I mean,
baby.
It's undefeated. It is. So, and also, you know, you play in that division at the time he would have been playing.
Why you could have quarterback for the Patriots at that time.
Exactly.
Going.
That's what I'm saying. So you got 6 guaranteed. Well, you have 5 guaranteed wins because you'll lose 1 to Miami. They always lose in Miami in the Patriots.
Waffling. Waffling does what you're doing. You do best. Like, so you're saying you're not a good quarterback, but he would have been successful in New England.
No, I just think that the Niners was not a good spot for him. I don't think he's a good quarterback in San Francisco. He hasn't. I don't think he's been good at all. He's had 1 decent year where he was carried by a defense and carried by weapons that have surrounded him. Huh?
He went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's what I said. He had 1 good year where he was carried by a defense and a lot of good weapons.
So you're telling me if he's not healthy this year with that same defense, with more offensive weapons added on there, another year like underneath the Kyle Shanahan system, they don't go back to the playoffs and make noise? What's different?
I think they go, if he's healthy the whole year, I think he goes to the playoffs, yeah, but I don't think they do anything in the playoffs.
Though? I mean, like, doesn't making the playoffs count you as like a successful season?
Yeah, but if you have a good quarterback at the helm of that team, it's a Super Bowl team. The team literally went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
So what's the difference?
With Jimmy G at the helm.
Yeah, when Jimmy G was playing well and he was healthy. But Jimmy G, is brittle, can't stay healthy, and he's overrated. He's carried by a defense and weapons.
But you just said he had a good year that year and took him to the Super Bowl.
He had a good. No, he didn't take him to the Super Bowl. He got carried to the Super Bowl. What, Buck?
But you also said if he's healthy this year, they're going to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, they'll go to the playoffs most likely because that defense. Huh?
So you're telling me that they can't go to the Super Bowl with the same team constructed, Jimmy G healthy, and the Packers notoriously choking in the NFC Championship game? I
don't think we would choke to the Niners again. I don't think so. If we're going to choke to anybody, I think it would be the Buccaneers.
I don't know, man.
There's always like one out of nowhere team in the NFC that comes out and normally makes a lot of noise and then takes the Packers out. That's genuinely always how it is. So like last year, you had the Buccaneers who had never been good before. Tom Brady comes in and all of a sudden they're a Super Bowl team. A couple years before that, you had Atlanta. Atlanta didn't do anything. Then all of a sudden,
Tampa Bay brought in everybody under the sun and built around Brady.
That team was the exact same Jameis Winston had.
You could have put any good quarterback in there except for Jameis because Jameis is not a good quarterback.
Hang on.
That team was the exact same as when Jameis had.
So you are telling me that Winston had Gronk?
No, I
no.
said except
You're
for
ready?
You're telling me that Winston had Antonio Brown?
Hold on.
You're
You ready
telling me
for
that
this?
Winston had Leonard Fournette? You
Hold
are
on.
telling me that Winston had that white boy? What's his name? Stevie Mills?
Scotty. Hold on. Scotty Miller is the wide receiver 3 for that team, and Antonio Brown is the wide receiver 4. Antonio Brown had a touchdown, maybe 2 all year long. Then Gronk had a good year, so I'll give you Gronk. Gronk follows Brady though. Wherever Brady goes, Gronk goes.
It doesn't matter.
Leonard Fournette
with Winston.
Leonard Fournette was splitting touches with Ronald Jones, who is a better running back than he is.
Tori, yes or no?
Hot take.
Was Leonard Fournette a top 5 pick in the NFL draft?
Yes.
Okay. Carry on, Wyatt.
What do you do in Jacksonville?
Ran for 1,000 yards his rookie year, and then played behind a terrible team.
And then what?
They put
And then he
9
draft
guys
talked
in the
his way
box.
out of Jacksonville like anybody that's a good player does.
Leonard Fournette is not even the best running back on that team. And then they added Wirfs, who was a rookie. So you added
right.
you added
Leonard
4
Fournette
people. You added 4 people, 2 who didn't get significant minutes.
They added Sue to their defensive line, which was huge.
Sue was already there. Sue's been there. These are guys that had been there.
Came over last year.
No, Sue had already been there. Sue had already been there for a year. He left the Dolphins 2 years ago and went there. But they just added 4 people. That's it. They had 4 people, and 2 of them weren't even significant starters. And then that was all she wrote. Tom Brady carried the team. Tom Brady was Tom Brady. That's all we need.
Who were the non-significant starters?
Huh?
He's saying
Who were the-
Antonio Brown.
Okay.
And then Leonard Fournette did split minutes.
You mean touchdown Leonard Fournette that basically carried them through the playoffs?
He did not. No, Tom Brady carried them through the playoffs. Leonard Fournette.
Whoa. Touchdown Lenny carried him through the playoffs.
Hence the name
Touchdown
Touchdown
Lenny
Lenny
put
that he
the
acquired during the 2020 playoffs.
No, touchdown Lenny originated when he was in Jacksonville. They just picked it back up. Anytime that he scores a touchdown, they're like, touchdown Lenny's back. Anytime that he crosses the goal line. He had to split touches with Ronald Jones. And then, like I said, Antonio Brown wasn't even a wide receiver 3 on that team. Mike Evans was already there. Chris Godwin was already there. Scotty Miller was brought in. I think Scotty was a rookie last year, right? So Scotty was their slot wide receiver, was a dump-off guy, which
Scotty doesn't know.
And then they added Wirfs through the draft. So they added 2 significant people, Gronk and Wirfs. Gronk and Wirfs were the only 2 starters that they added, that full-time starters. And Gronk wasn't really even a full-time starter. He still had to split touches at tight end.
Did Gronk basically seal Super Bowl with that touchdown catch that he had?
Yeah, he did. That's why I said I'll give you Gronk. I gave you Gronk and Wirfs. That's it. Antonio Brown had 2 touchdowns all year last year.
Who was the other tailback that they just got as well? Like the guy that was the starter?
LaShawn McCoy?
No, Ronald.
No, they signed somebody. They assigned somebody else.
Ronald who? What is his name?
Jones?
Is it Ronald Jones? Wasn't he a rookie?
No.
Rojo's been there for a little bit.
Third-year guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, Leonard Fournette had to split touches. They only had 2 guys that they brought in that weren't actually starters. And Gronk still
Show me
split
a team
touches.
in the NFL that doesn't have 2 running backs that they split carries with these days.
There's nothing wrong with splitting touches with 2 different running backs. But I'm just saying.
You're talking down with saying that he was insignificant when he wasn't. I
didn't say he was insignificant. I just said that. I just said that you can't say he carried him all the way through when he was a splitting touches running back.
You literally said there was only 2 significant players, and Leonard Fournette was not one of them.
No, I said 2 starters. There were only 2 starters on that team, and like I said, I'll give you Gronk. I'll give you Gronk because he scored 2-3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. I'll give you Gronk for that.
How many touchdowns did Leonard Fournette score in the playoffs?
Was it 3?
3 with 300 yards on the ground. How is that not significant?
He's splitting touches. I never said it wasn't significant.
In 4 games.
Leonard Fournette. Look, Leonard Fournette's a good player. I would love to have Leonard Fournette on the Packers. Any team would love to have Leonard Fournette. But I'm just saying, the Buccaneers are virtually the exact same team, but they only added 2 starters, two full-time starters.
Hang on. Pause. What did you just say? You said Leonard Fournette is a valuable piece to any team. You would love to have him on the Packers, but he is not a significant part of the Buccaneers? Like, how does that make any sense?
I said he wasn't a starter. Where are you guys getting significant? I keep on saying he's not a starter.
You said they added 2 significant pieces. The words that came out of your mouth. 2 significant pieces.
Hold on. You ready for this? Here we go. Ready for this? The Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all right, had 2 players that they brought in that actually started full-time. They didn't split touches. And like I said, Gronk technically still split touches, but I'll give you Gronk because he was incredible in the Super Bowl and had, 2, maybe 3 touchdowns in that performance. And Gronk goes...
You're digging yourself a hole.
What hole?
You just keep going deeper and deeper trying to get out. It's just... you're about up to here right now.
I'm telling you guys, go look at the rosters. This is why I think Jameis Winston sucks. He had the exact same team except for 2 people.
He did not have the same roster. You just told us he added 2 significant pieces, and then you said Leonard Fournette, you'd love to have him on any other team. And then the fact is that you're like, no, but he doesn't.
Funny thing is any team in the NFL could have had him. He was a free agent.
He went to ring chase.
You don't ring chase on your 4th year in the league.
I couldn't let this go.
Then what was that? You don't just join Tom Brady. You join Tom Brady to ring chase. Same thing with Sean McCoy.
That is true.
Wyatt Williams, I could not let this go. I was listening to it in the car on my way home, get home from work late. I'm listening to you babble about this nonsense that Leonard Fournette didn't lead this team through the playoffs. Tom Brady, who was throwing interception after interception, led them through the playoffs. Leonard Fournette having the greatest playoffs of his life led them through the playoffs. That's great
because he's only been to 2.
How was this the same team that Jameis Winston had? Jameis Winston didn't have Leonard Fournette. Jameis Winston didn't have Gronk. Jameis Winston didn't have Antonio Brown. Jameis Winston didn't have...
Of 22 starters, Jameis Winston had 20.
You are out of your mind.
Of 22
if you think that was the same team, you know what Jameis Winston didn't have? He didn't have Tom Brady calling the plays.
Well, I'm saying No, we're not counting the quarterback here because that's what we're talking about switching here. Jameis Winston, of the 22 starters on each side of the ball, or technically 22 would be the quarterback, so take that out. Of the 21 starters around the quarterback, only 19 of them, or 19 of them, were on the team with Jameis.
But you added
2 of them that started.
Hall of Famers.
Gronk started. Tristan Wirfs started. Were the only 2 that didn't split minutes and both started full time.
The greatest quarterback of all time.
I just said 21 because we're talking about switching quarterbacks here. Of the 21 people around the quarterback position, 19 of them were the exact same as what Tom Brady and Jameis Winston had. 2 starters were different. And it was Tristan Wirfs, a right tackle, and it was tight end Rob Gronkowski. And like I said, Rob Gronkowski still split touches with O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate, but I will give you Rob Gronkowski because, first off, he's Gronk, and second off, he had an incredible Super Bowl. Yeah, because he's Gronk, he's good. No, and second off, he had an incredible Super Bowl with 2, 3, I don't remember the exact number. It was either 2 or 3 touchdowns in that game. So I will give you Gronk, but Gronk and Wirfs are the only 2 starters that were different. That's it. Everybody else was the same.
Wyatt, let me ask you this. They give a NBA award called Sixth Man of the Year, right? It is called role players. It's like you don't start, but you come off the bench and you are very, very valuable to your team.
Correct.
Do you think Leonard Fournette and Antonio Brown were very, very valuable to this Buccaneers team?
I think Leonard Fournette was.
So you have to add that significant piece. Words coming out of your mouth, I am regurgitating and putting them back on your plate. Leonard Fournette is a significant piece for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Winston did not have that, right?
Winston had Ronald Jones, which Ronald Jones is an incredible running back too.
Did he have Leonard Fournette?
No, he did not have Leonard Fournette.
So what you're saying is the team's better with Tom Brady on the team.
How many touchdowns did Ronald Jones have in the playoffs?
I don't remember. It was probably.
I think I had one, maybe.
I think he had one or two, maybe.
Okay. How many did Leonard Fournette have?
3.
How many yards rushing did Leonard Fournette have?
I think it was
what Ronald Jones
$300.
have.
I think Rojo had somewhere around probably 150, but Rojo's a pass catching back too. Leonard Fournette has brick hands. He cannot catch.
To sit there and say that this Tampa Bay team was the same Tampa Bay team that Jameis Winston had the year before is just an asinine idea, because it's
two different players.
Two different starters. Two different starters.
What
about the role players? What about the role players?
Then 4 of 53 of a 53-man roster. There was 4 different. How about that? You want to expand it to that?
Didn't they sign another tie
out of a 53-man roster? The offense only plays how many of them?
I don't know off the top of my head. Each team's different. It depends on how many they got signed. If you split it in half, it's like 26 and 27, something like that. My math could be botched on that. I think it is.
Oh my God!
No, 27 and 26 is 53. I am right.
No, because you're forgetting about special teams.
No, special teams are part of the 53. Oh, yeah, well, no, I am forgetting about. Never mind. Okay, so like you kind of cut off. What
you're looking about 22,
four people
players.
You probably have like what 2 kickers and 2 punters, maybe. No, I think it's just 1 and 1 for them.
Well, you got like a long snapper too, probably.
A lot of teams. Yeah. Okay, so cut 3 people off that. So it's 50.
This was 25 not the same 25. Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. It just wasn't. And to say that it is just because not only that, but and as much as I like Jameis Winston, and everybody knows that I'm a fan of Jameis Winston, Tom Brady is light years above Jameis Winston. I mean, light years above Jameis Winston.
Yes,
not only
absolutely.
That, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were having a horrible season until Tom Brady took over the play calling.
Because he's the GOAT.
They were having a horrendous season.
He's the GOAT.
Okay, so it's not the same team.
I didn't say anything wrong about Tom Brady. I am saying what you're saying. Tom Brady carried that team. You just said it yourself. They sucked until you started calling plays. Tom Brady carries whatever. I don't care who's on the roster. If you have Tom Brady and it's playoff time, Tom Brady wins. Tom Brady carries. Look at any career year he had. Tom Brady carries in the playoffs. It's that simple. How is it not?
Tom Brady was also the reason why they almost weren't even in the Super Bowl. Those 3 interceptions were really costly in the NFC title game. So you can't say he carried them. Yes, did he lead them? Sure. Did he carry them? Absolutely not.
No,
he carried them all but 3 interceptions.
Sealed that game with that touchdown early in the second.
Yes,
half.
Playoff Lenny carried them to the Super Bowl. That's why Tom Brady had that Playoff Lenny.
Tom Brady was the one who made the decision not to kick the field goal, and Tom Brady was the one who said, "No, we're staying out here."
A nickname called Playoff Lenny.
No, that nickname came in Jacksonville. That nickname came in Jacksonville.
When did they make the playoffs in Jacksonville?
They went to almost the AFC Championship. Or they did go to the AFC Championship in Jacksonville.
I take it back.
You're right. Lost to Tom Brady.
His rookie year, they did.
Yes, they did.
17.
That's where Playoff Lenny came from.
Oh my God!
I'm telling y'all. Hey, but with that being said, Man Hour Nation, we will be right back in a moment. We've got some awesome stuff coming up for you. Combs is with us now. Tori, Buck, myself, we'll see you.
I can go back away if I'm ruining your stuff.
What is up, Man Hour Nation? We are back as you hear the beat drop behind me. I did want to mention this. I missed it earlier, so I want to bring this up here. We brought it up on the break. Jameson says, O.J. Howard was out most of the year. Fournette started multiple games, and AB was a difference maker. O.J. Howard was out for a significant part of the year, still got a lot of playing time, and he still had to split time with Cameron Brate. Next, Fournette started multiple games, and AB is a difference maker. Sure they are, but it still doesn't change. They weren't full-time starters. That is all I was saying. But anyways, as we move on here, we are going to talk about the New York Knicks. Madison Square Garden.
Hang on. One second here. First of all, it is Liar Liar coming up next year, Wyatt. Get on the show, boy.
Liar Liar?
Yeah, but
Guys,
there are a
I'm
few...
on a swivel here.
There are a few questions that we need to address here. So Stacy says, what happens if someone gets drafted and they don't want to go? Do they have to go?
You basically pull an Eli Manning, and that's exactly what Eli did. He got drafted by the Chargers, said, hey, peace out, I'm out of here, I don't want to be here. John Elway did the same thing. You can say that you don't want to play there, and they'll trade you pretty much. I mean, once somebody drafts you, I believe they own your rights, correct?
Yeah.
They do.
I was going to say, if that's the case, I don't think anybody would ever get drafted by the Jets.
No, Bo Jackson, but Bo Jackson though was drafted originally in the first round by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He said, "Nope, not going. I'm going to go play baseball instead," and that's what he did. He went to go play baseball instead, and re-entered the draft the next year. And the Raiders took him. I don't remember. It was like in the 6th round or something like that. Right. Took a flyer on him. Yeah, he said, all right, I'll go play for the Raiders.
Speaking of Bo Jackson, I'll be super quick with this before we get to Liar Liar. I saw a YouTube video the other day of him talking about, like, you know how people tell the legendary stories of Bo Jackson, you know, of his time. And him and his buddies were at some party and somebody fired a gun and he started running away. And there was this ditch and they said it was a 40-foot ditch and he jumped over it. So he basically like told everybody that like, hey, the only story about me that was a lie was this story. And they were like, oh, well, how big was the ditch? He said, he goes 30 feet. Like, what? Are you serious? Like, it wasn't 40 feet. It was 30. Okay, Bo, fine. Just flex on all of us and show us how incredible of an athlete you are. But with that being said,
one more question there, Wyatt. Hang on one second.
Oh, sorry.
And then Drew, he comes over and says, if Jimmy isn't being traded to the Pats, who the Pats are getting, it's Jordan Love, isn't it, guys?
Jordan Love.
Yeah, I think
we're going to package Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers both.
Yeah. No, I think the Patriots, no matter what, on draft night end up with a quarterback, whether if they trade, whether if they draft, whatever it is, I think in some way they end up with a quarterback. But they can't get Jimmy. Jimmy's on a no trade clause. That's part of his new deal. He's on a no trade clause till what, 2023, Buck?
I think it's what we saw.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
Clause doesn't mean that you can't be traded. It just means he has to approve the trade.
Yeah.
Well,
but speaking of,
we'll go to the Jets.
We'll hop into Liar Liar. This is our first time ever doing Liar Liar with Buck's hopping out. So we'll have Tori and Combs competing in this one. Combs, you won our last one, but Tori, sir, you are our special guest this evening, so you will be kicking us off here.
What?
He's special. Yeah. I don't know about a special guest.
Nice. The Cubs suck. So let him go first because he's got to
have those 16. Did you see those 16 runs,
how
baby?
many games have the Brewers won by double digits this year?
How many times did the Brewers beat the Mets?
In first place.
How many times did the Brewers beat the Mets?
What the Padres?
Sit down.
Who has the best pitching staff in the majors?
How many times have the Cubs lost by double digits?
New York Mets.
But anyways, we're gonna get into Liar Liar here. We've got Tori,
sign language,
and we've got Combs.
I got some sign language for you.
But our first question here, everybody knows the rules. Liar Liar. First 1 to 3 points wins it. I'm going to give 3 topics. 2 are lies, 1 is the truth. We're going to go back and forth to see who goes first, and whoever ends up with 3, like I said, wins it. So everybody ready?
Let's do this.
Trevor just texted me and told Combs to shut up.
Oh, I almost forgot. And if nobody wins, if they both get 3 wrong, then the greatest pitcher of all time, Trevor Bauer, wins. So Trevor Bauer, be on the lookout, man. So first one here. Prior to 1900, prize fights lasted up to 100 rounds in boxing. Prior to the year 1900, okay? Next one. The first baseball hats were made out of paper and straw. All right. Next one here, Manute Bol. Everybody remembers him, like 7'7", basketball player from a long time ago. Bol, his son, now plays in the league. But Manute Bol's grandfather had 28 wives. 28 wives. So we've got, prior to 1900, prize fights lasted up to 100 rounds. The first baseball hats were made out of paper and straw, and Manute Bol's grandfather had 28 wives. So 4 generations ahead of Bol. But anyways, Tor, you're starting us off here, sir. The floor is yours.
Oh.
I made them hard on these boys.
I mean, I'm going back because I'm throwing out, that's a lie. The paper and the straw one, no. I've watched Ken Burns baseball way too many times to even think that was real. What was the first one again?
Yeah, the first one was prior to 1900. Prize fights lasted up to 100 rounds.
That'd be awesome boxing to watch.
Exactly.
However, I think I'm pretty sure that's a lie. I'm going to go with Manute Bol's grandpa. Yeah, I'm guessing he was the what was he Swahili?
I'm not 100% sure, but I know that they were from a foreign country. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah. So I'm going to take Manute Bol's grandfather had 28 wives.
All right, Combs.
Well,
our reigning champ.
I used to talk to my grandfather all the time, who loved boxing, and he used to tell me about how men were men back in the day, and how championship fights. You know, he remembers that there was a title fight that had gone over 110 rounds or something like that, and he told me the story about it. So I am going to go with prize fights used to last up to 100 rounds. That's the one I'm going with.
All right. So with that being said, Trevor Bauer will not be taking our first point of the night. But do you know who else won't be taking the first point of the night? Mr. Torrey Anderson. Combs, you are correct. Prize fights prior to 1900 lasted up to 100 rounds. That is incredible. The first baseball hats, by the way, were made out of straw. And Manute Bol's grandfather had 37 wives, not 28.
Could you imagine having to fight somebody for 100 rounds?
I couldn't. Could you imagine having 37 wives? Which would be
No.
harder? 37 wives or having to fight a 100-round fight? Which would be harder? Come on.
But no, 100 rounds of fighting would be harder.
No, I can't please one woman, let alone 37. So,
all right. So now moving
It's
on.
not about pleasing her; it's about pleasing yourself.
Comes in, just pops in, pops out. Here we go. All right. But next, so Combs starts off the night at 1-0, and Trevor Bauer still has nothing. Sad face. But next one here, NASCAR tires have nitrogen in them, not air. Okay. Next, each year, over 50,000 people are seriously injured by exercise equipment. All right. Next, and the final one for this one, the most popular team in the United Kingdom, ironically, is the Patriots. So we've got NASCAR tires have nitrogen, not air in them. We've got each year over 50,000 people are seriously injured by exercise equipment on average. And we've got the most popular team in the United Kingdom, ironically, is the Patriots, the place where we fled.
So is it the most popular NFL team or most popular team, period?
Sports team.
All right. So nitrogen, I'm pretty sure, would explode if it got as hot as those tires do on the tracks.
They get hot. They do get hot.
I'm pretty sure in the United Kingdom it would be a soccer team that would be more popular than a
no.
NFL team.
Like I'm saying American sports teams.
Oh.
All of American sports teams, the Patriots are the most popular. Sorry, I should have made that more clear.
Yeah, that kind of changes the whole context.
Yeah, it changes the whole thing.
Sorry, guys.
Because I'm like, this is an easy one.
Yeah, I thought it was an easy one until just now. What was the second one? What was the middle one more time?
The middle one was each year over 50,000 people are seriously injured by exercise equipment.
Man, I wouldn't know that because I don't use exercise equipment.
Me either.
I'm gonna say, dang. I thought this was an easy one. I'm gonna go with the Patriots being the most popular team in the United Kingdom.
All right, Tori.
Well, I don't know. I thought wasn't the most popular team there for football the London Jaguars because they play like half their home games over there. Because nobody shows up in Jacksonville. So
nobody showed up for those games either.
It's pretty bad that the Jacksonville Jaguars have made the playoffs. Hey, if you buy one ticket, get one free because we still can't sell at the stadium. So I'm going to have to go then. That first one, no. No. I'm going to have to go with that. Every year, 50,000 people are injured by exercise equipment because I've watched a lot of Fail Army, and I love those clips, like when you get the idiots like using equipment wrong, or they're on a treadmill and they just turn their head to like check somebody out
and they wipe out. Yeah,
they wipe out and they go shooting off of it.
But hey, everybody locked in?
Yeah.
Final answer.
Here we go. So with that being said, taking it to a 1-1-0 score is Trevor Bauer. NASCAR tires have nitrogen in them, not air. Seriously.
My car has nitrogen in it.
That's crazy. Each year over 30,000 people are seriously injured by exercise equipment, not 50. And the most popular team in Jamaica is the Patriots. So not UK. So
wow.
Combs won.
How do NASCAR tires not just blow up?
I think if they had air in them, I think they'd blow up. I think the nitrogen is what keeps them balanced.
No, nitrogen.
Nitrogen is
what was in the
Hindenburg
gas that caused it to blow up.
Yes,
I think that's what kind of keeps the
science
cars
behind this.
I would love to.
Nitrogen has a higher explosion point than oxygen, actually. So all of the newer cars, when they come off the lot, they have nitrogen in them because it also bounces out better. So like you don't get like if it gets like super hot or super cold, like you know how your tire pressure gets really low. Like if it gets cold outside and your drops in like 20 pounds, that nitrogen will keep it up still. Just because.
Who let Bill Nye the Science Guy back on the show?
Bill.
All right, so our next one here.
It's like a little random factoid wizard just boom pops in.
Yeah, he's like bing out, bing out.
My car's got nitrogen. Boom.
So the next one, here we go. Tori, you're taking over this one again. In search of your first point, man. Rough start, but you could turn it around here. So Shaquille O'Neal, Diesel, Big Nasty, Shaq has a gnome collection. Like gnomes, right? Mm-hmm. Little garden gnomes. Next, Scottie Pippen spent 95% of his NBA earnings. 95%. Final one, the longest tennis match ever was over 11 hours long. Wow. So we've got Shaq, the Big Diesel, has a gnome collection. Pippen spent 95% of his NBA earnings, and the longest tennis match was over 11 hours. Tori, the floor is yours, sir.
D, all of the above. One. That is a tough one because they're all really good ones.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I'm telling you, man, I worked really hard on these.
Wait, give me a dartboard. Let me just toss something at it. Oh, Jesus.
That's how Buck chooses his opinions before the show, too.
I'm going to... Wait, what was number 2?
Number 2 was the Scottie Pippen spent 95% of his NBA earnings.
I'm torn. It's either that one or the tennis match one, because I seem to remember something about the tennis match, but I'm not 100%. So I'm going to go with Pippen because I know Pippen ran into a little bit of financial trouble. So I'm going to go with Pippen has spent 95% of his earnings.
Yeah, I was thinking that one too. I do know Shaq's a weirdo though, and Shaq could really have a gnome collection.
He's got a Christmas tree that's all broken backboards and rims that he's broken over the years.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Shaq has a gnome collection.
All right, final answer?
Yeah.
The correct answer is the longest tennis match was over 11 hours. Wow. Trevor Bauer takes a 2-1 lead.
I knew I should have went with my gut.
I completely made
Trevor
up
Bauer blowed in the 6th like normal.
I completely made up the Shaq one, but Scottie Pippen spent 100% of his NBA earnings, not 95, down to the last penny. He spent every little bit of it.
I had people agreeing with me too. Stacy said Shaq. Drew said he was going with Shaq.
Yeah,
11 hours in a tennis match.
Shaq is a very unique person, but taking a 2-1 lead is the greatest pitcher of all time. That is Trevor Bauer.
I'm not good at this game ever, unless I'm on the computer. If I'm on the computer, like I get it.
Even hear him
90% of the time. All I heard was blah blah blah.
Yeah, no, I heard and he was out. But anyways, next moving on to our
he hit the button so quick he was still stuttering.
So
true statement.
Our next one. Ted Williams once hit a pop fly that went over 600 feet in the air. 600 feet. Next, the first ever baseball game for intercollegiate play was an outrageous score of 57-38. All right. And then our final one, the original volleyball was made out of the inside bladder of a basketball. And I think Combs, you got this one, right? You're first.
Yeah. Man, that volleyball one sounds interesting.
I thought he was gonna say like a volleyball was first made by like the inside bladder of a sheep.
The baseball one seems kind of crazy. 51-38. I mean, it's
57-38. Even higher.
That's even, yeah. And what was the first one?
The first one was Ted Williams once hit a pop fly.
Oh, yeah.
It went over 600 feet in the air.
He was super strong, too, man. He was a super strong. 600 feet pop-up, though.
That's way up there. That's higher than I read something earlier. That would have been higher than the tallest building in Boston.
Yeah. Man, I'm going to go with the volleyball.
All right. Tori.
It's bogus. He stole my answer. I'm taking my sheep bladder and going home. So what was the second one?
The second one was the first ever intercollegiate baseball game was an outrageous score of 57-38.
Can you tell me what year that was?
It was 18.
No Googling.
I don't remember the year, but I remember it was in the 1800s.
I'm gonna go with the collegiate baseball one. It's good. I'm not sold on an answer. I am ready to give no points.
So with that being said,
if Trevor Bauer takes the lead 3-1, I'm fighting someone.
If Trevor Bauer gets a point here, he wins. That'd be 3 points.
Huh?
But with that being said, tying it up at 2-2, the BC Combs.
Yes.
A volleyball. Hey, but the first ever intercollegiate baseball game was an outrageous 72-32 score, not 57-38. That's incredible. And then Ted Williams once hit a pop fly that went 532 feet in the air, not 600. So it was still way up there.
How do we know it didn't go 600 feet? Did they have a tape measure?
I don't know how they would actually measure that. That's a really good question.
Tell us about the science of it all.
Yeah,
Bill Nye's out.
Pop out of here. You look it up, and then Bill Nye us again. We gotta have bucks. You remember how Nickelodeon had that football game, and young Sheldon would like pop in and be like a holding penalty is whenever this happens. We gotta have like Bucks tips where he just pops in and is like the science behind a baseball.
You don't ever want to do anything with Bucks tips.
Yeah, that's true.
Coach Bucks. Coach
That's just
Coach
asking
Bucks
for
words of
problems.
wisdom.
All right. Well, at least I know that I won't lose to Tori tonight. I might lose to Trevor frickin' Bauer, though. But he always blows it into the 6. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Next. Muhammad Ali, the first one here. Muhammad Ali was once in a Marvel comic. Okay? Next. Red Bull once sponsored a race that was 100-year-old plus men. You had to be 100 plus years old and a man to race in this. And it was sponsored by Red Bull.
Sexist.
All right. And then the final one. The 1986 Kentucky Derby winner was promised oats and heaven for the rest of his life, but he actually got sent to the slaughterhouse and became dog food.
That's racist, too.
That's not racist.
What do you got against horses, Wyatt?
What color was the horse?
I know, right? No comment.
What was the horse's name?
No comment. Tori, just go. Jesus.
Wyatt, do you think that chocolate milk comes from brown cows still too?
When I was a kid, I did. I really did. I think every kid thought that, though. Like, let's be real here.
I think every kid was told that by their parents, I think.
Yeah, I was probably told that by my parents, too. But here we go. Ali was once in a Marvel comic. Red Bull once sponsored a 100-year-old men race. And the 1986 Kentucky Derby winner ended up at a slaughterhouse.
I am going to go with one of those answers.
And Tori gets the first point of the night.
I'm going to say B.
B. So Red Bull once sponsored a 100-year-old men race.
Just because Red Bull does weird off the wall crap.
They do weird stuff
all the time.
They do weird
like
stuff.
That actually sounds like something that is so dumb that they would do it.
All right, Combs.
That horse one sounds so horrible that it could be true. What was the first one?
The first one was Muhammad Ali was in a Marvel comic once.
I think he was in a DC comic. I don't think he was in a Marvel.
That was my thought too.
I'm going with the horse one. They put him up to slaughter. They made glue out of him. Oh, Wyatt just got a huge smile on his face. I think Trevor Bauer just won.
So with that being said, we do have a winner for the night. Tori, I'm sorry to tell you, sir, you did get shut out.
I got skunked.
I do love you, man.
Goodbye.
But
did I beat Trevor Bauer?
So the winner was Brandon BC Combs.
Yes.
So Ali was in a
DC
DC
at this game.
Ali was in a DC comic. He fought Superman. So you guys were correct on that. I made up the Red Bull once sponsored 100-year-old men race. And it is true. The 1986 Kentucky Derby winner was he. So the promise for horses is something like if you win the Kentucky Derby and there's another race, and he won both of them. It wasn't the Preakness or the Belmont, so it had nothing to do with the Triple Crown. But there was two races. If you win, the promise for the rest of your life is you don't ever have to race, and the horses get sent to a paradise farm where they can just eat oats and prance around for the rest of their life until they eventually pass away.
They do. It's called horse heaven.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that's what ended up happening. He ended up getting.
They stud him out. They ended up studding him out.
No, seriously, they sent him to a slaughterhouse. Like there was a huge uproar in like horse racing fans.
Yeah,
like there was protests and everything. But it was a 1986 Kentucky Derby winner. Yeah, everybody lost their minds.
Did Elmer's Glue own the horse?
No, seriously, I'm pretty sure. I don't know this for a fact, but the rumor is it went to dog food. That's what the rumor is.
Yeah,
Alpo. It was Alpo. Blame Alpo.
But with that being said, that is all for our Liar. BC wins it yet again. He is the champ of this game, man. It was not fair that we put up Tori against it because Tori's played twice, and I don't think Tori has a single point
I'm
yet.
just really good at telling when people are lying.
I haven't lost the regular season yet to Combs.
What? What?
I'm just saying.
You lost the first season to me.
That was preseason. This is regular season.
Well, you were down 2-1 to me in regular season, weren't you? Or was it 2-2?
I changed my number from 77 to 60, from 60 to like 62. So
okay.
Good.
And then
Speaking of
so you let Tori
preseason,
come in, so you didn't look like a total fool.
Speaking of preseason, who doesn't play in the preseason? Tom Brady. We will be talking about Tom Brady when we return here.
Oh, good God.
On the Man Hour. We'll see you.
That dude looks awesome.
Yeah, you can have him.
It must be all non-playoff highlights, though, huh?
It is all non-playoff highlights. It is. Of course it is. Because why else would it be anything cool? But hey, we're back here on Man Hour. Wyatt Williams, Michael Buckheiser, Tori Anderson, Brandon Combs, the entire crew here tonight. But with that being said, be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to check us out on manhourradio.com. You can check us out on Big X Sports Radio as well, Monday through Friday, every single day. But hey, with that being said, I mentioned it before the break. We've got Tom Brady to talk about. The Tom Brady. And with that being said, so Tom Brady had an issue. You guys say a better quote, Zach Wilson or Max Jones?
No. I'm laughing about you because in a matter of about 5 seconds, you said, with that being said, 17 times.
I did.
You did.
Whoops. Well,
He's fine.
with that being said, we're going to... No, I'm just kidding. So, hey,
You're fine. You're fine.
No, I'm all good, man. I'm just kidding. So Tom Brady was, well, first off, we had this new rule where, all skill players now can wear single digits. Tom Brady comes out and he is not happy about it. As Buck was not either, I got to mention. So Buck wasn't happy about it either. So Buck and Brady, you can pretty much just consider them two peas in a pod, basically best friends at this point.
They are friends.
They're the same. Do you, and I got to ask you guys, do you see, I know what Buck's going to say, so I'm going to kick it to Combs and Tori first, then we'll come through with Buck. But do you guys see where people are upset about this new ruling with the number change and how people aren't a big fan of it? So do you guys see the point in this? Combs, you go first, buddy. But do you see the point?
No, there's no. Who cares? Again, we've had this conversation before. I don't care what number you wear. I don't care what is on your on your back when you're playing the game. All that I care is that you play the game well, that you represent the team, that you are winning games. That's what I care about. I don't care about the what number you. I don't care if Tom Brady comes out next year and is wearing number 99. Like, I don't care. You know what? I'll go out and get a Tom Brady number 99 jersey if that happens. It's not a big deal. Like, I don't care who wears what number. It's people like, oh, we might have to buy more new jerseys, or what about this, or what about that? So what? So what? If you don't want to buy a new jersey, then don't buy a new jersey. Who cares? Who cares if you're wearing a Kansas City Chiefs jersey that says Patrick Mahomes on it? Tear off the damn number.
I don't mean to cut you off here. I want to add something real quick, Combs. I'll kick it right back to you, I promise. But did you guys see where the NFL teams, if you do switch your number and you've already got a number that's different than that, you have to buy out.
You switch your number.
You have to, well, of course, but you have to buy out, unless you're coming from a different team, you have to buy out all your jerseys that are still in stock. Something like that in the pro shop, I believe it is.
For the team?
So what?
Because every team's got a pro shop.
Yeah, for your pro shop. Say I was Aaron Rodgers, okay, and I was number 12, right, and I wanted to switch to number 4. I would have to buy all the number 12 jerseys.
Did anybody
so that way
care
they get them off
when Kobe Bryant switched from 8 to 24?
Yeah, it was stupid.
No,
it was not stupid. It was a generational switch.
Yeah, but like nobody said, "Oh, now I got to go buy another Kobe Bryant jersey."
The young cocky kid became the Mamba in that moment.
It's okay. So hang on one second. First of all, basketball spots on the court don't have a specific number that they are associated with. Like a point guard doesn't have to be 1 through 10. A shooting guard doesn't have to be
you can be whatever number you want.
To 20.
Yeah, exactly. You can be whatever number you want.
The NFL, they do that to determine positions on the field. A linebacker is 50s. Wide receivers are like 80s. Quarterbacks are like teens. Running backs are 20s for a reason. Tom Brady is exactly right. If a freaking Mike linebacker is wearing number 7, like me, and then a safety is wearing number 11 and he's playing up in the box, it is hard for me to determine who the actual linebacker is. Who is the Mike linebacker? Where is my biggest threat? It is a safety concern, because if Tom Brady says number 11 is the Mike and number 11 is a strong safety walking down into the box, and I shift my coverage to the right and I get blindsided because I didn't call the correct protection because the numbers are jacked up, my career, my life, my livelihood, my GOAT status is all in jeopardy just because of a stupid number change. So then that's
Tom Brady's fault for calling out the wrong number.
To quote the kids, get good, scrub.
That has nothing to do with it. But
so
that has nothing to do with
it. Buck, why does it matter what number they wear? We live in 2021 right now.
What matters is because everybody's the same size.
Why? If the number is on the front of your jersey, you're not going to call out the wrong number.
College is different. Just because you change positions so much and you can play offense and defense and special teams,
kickers are usually number 91,
which is totally fine.
I think that kicker and punter is the only position, always in the NFL, that you can pretty much be whatever number you want. I'm pretty sure that the kicker is the only one like that.
The only reason why Buck and Wyatt are so hell-bent on the numbers need to be the same is because that's what you're used to. What would have happened if it had always been pick whatever number you want? You wouldn't care right now. You wouldn't care. Just like you don't care that position players in baseball don't have to wear a certain number. It's not like the shortstop has to wear between 1 and 7.
That's kind of different, though.
Your goalie only has to wear between 24 and 38, or your center. It's not different, though. It is because in football differentiates itself because you can be the same position but be at different places all over the field. So a shortstop is always going to be at the shortstop position. Now I get it, you shift sometimes, but
shortstop is always going to be between second and third. Second baseman's always going to be on second. Third baseman's always going to be on third. First is always going to be on first. So that's easy to pick out.
No, have you ever heard of this, Jeff?
What about you're looking at guys like Khalil Mack or what's the kid in Arizona there? The defensive end. No, the
Chandler
other one.
Jones.
Chandler Jones can play outside linebacker. So if Chandler Jones switches from defensive end to outside linebacker, and between whether he's running a 4-3 or whether he's running a dime, determines whether or not he's on the line or he's playing at the linebacker position.
Well, but he's got a universal number.
He's wearing.
He's at a universal number, and quarterbacks always know where Chandler Jones and Khalil Mack are. That's a given one day. You always know where those two are.
See,
if those two came out and they were number 100 or number 0, you would know.
You're telling me if Khalil Mack was wearing number 1, people would forget where he was?
No, I'm saying the opposite of that. I'm saying no matter what number Khalil Mack and Chandler Jones wear, that's a different animal because. Well, first off, and they're always on the edge. It doesn't matter if they're outside linebacker or DN. Okay. They always are blitzing off the edge.
Chandler Jones decides, hey, you know what? They just brought in. We didn't realize that they brought in an extra wide receiver. I'm going to go and play corner on this play.
Well, that would never happen.
That's a problem. Why?
That would never happen. A safety would come up and play that.
It would be a timeout.
Or a linebacker would come and play it. Yeah. A defensive end would never play that.
Okay, so now you got your linebacker lined up as a cornerback. A linebacker doesn't have the same number as cornerbacks.
Linebacker's going to coverage all the time.
Oh my God! Everybody stop! Call timeout. Number 53 is lined up as a cornerback. We can't have a number that high lined up as a cornerback.
So let me ask you this question here.
Stupid.
Let me ask you this.
It's not necessarily defense either. The only people that change numbers are wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs, and linemen. And linemen can change now. It's really on the offensive side of the ball. It's not necessarily even on the defensive. No, it's a little bit on the defensive, but not much.
It is everybody but offensive linemen and defensive linemen. Their numbers have.
I think
changed.
linemen got extended 10 more numbers, didn't they?
And now you're hearing about Patrick Mahomes going back to number 5, which I believe is the number that he wore in college. I don't know why he'd go back to that number. He was a losing quarterback in college.
I didn't even know he was going to do that.
Right? He had so much potential.
Huh?
He had so much potential, in college, and the Bears should have drafted him but they didn't draft him because he's a black, right?
Yeah,
because he was not very good in college, Combs. That's why the Bears did not draft him.
I know. I always say that when you guys talk about that stuff, I always say the one quarterback I don't blame them for is Patrick Mahomes because nobody could have seen him being what he was.
Patrick Mahomes was good in college. He went 10th overall in the draft. He was not terrible.
I'm not saying that, but he wasn't first overall, over pick or second overall pick.
He was something like 12 and 18 as a college quarterback.
That doesn't say anything about the quarterback. The pieces around him might suck. He went 10th overall. That speaks volumes to who he is. The Kansas City Chiefs traded up to get him.
I agree with that, but I'm just saying I can understand why the Bears passed on him. And I
can understand that too, but people keep on saying that he was this terrible quarterback in college. He was not really that bad. He showed many signs of what he does in college.
He was an extremely
he wasn't the future Hall of Famer in college, though. Nobody said, "Hey, look at you got to get this kid because he's going to be a Hall of Famer." 3 years into his career, people are like, "He's the future Hall of Famer."
He was
good. No, they didn't say that.
He ran that air raid offense. I mean, it's the same thing that Kingsbury's doing in Arizona now. It was that air raid offense. So he would throw for 500-600 yards.
What were you trying to ask me, Buck?
7 touchdowns.
Before Wyatt kept cutting you off?
Yeah, dicks.
I'm sorry, Buck.
So yesterday, was it yesterday that what day were you on, Combs? It was Tuesday, right?
Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday show, and you kept saying that Trevor Lawrence was going to be a bust because he didn't play any tough competition, right? And
correct.
And all this stuff. What college did Deshaun Watson go to?
Oh, I never thought about that. That's a good question.
Yeah, but go back and look at the schedules that Deshaun Watson played.
He played in the ACC. It's the same schedule.
Same schedule, same team,
same teams.
Rankings.
Right, but back when Deshaun Watson was playing, the ACC was a different conference, and we know that conferences go through ups and downs. It wasn't the same team.
The ACC now is better than what it was.
I agree with that.
False.
The only thing that was different was Louisville was good then, because I know this. Louisville was good then, and they suck now. That was the only thing that was different.
Miami was good then. Florida State was good. Florida State is trash now.
Yes.
Florida State was trash then. Florida State came in ranked 2. Louisville slaughtered them by 60 points at home, and then Florida State dropped out of the rankings. Florida State wasn't good then either.
You guys are looking at stuff like what I'm talking about.
It's a good question. I think it's a good question.
So I was going to build on this question here because I want to talk about your Chicago Bears without having you get you drunk on the show.
Deshaun Watson came out of that draft, and you knew what he was because of the way that he would lead his comeback. Like, the way he beat Alabama in that title game, the way that he performed.
Barely. Did you see the way that Trevor Lawrence beat Alabama in his title game? Pieced them apart.
Yeah, you know what I didn't see Deshaun Watson do? Lose to LSU, lose to freaking Ohio State, and crap himself,
only won one national title.
Himself, and throw 3 interceptions in the first quarter.
He only won one national title, the same amount that Trevor did.
Oh my God! Anyway,
and he didn't win his final year.
I just want to say that the Bears did not necessarily do a bad thing about picking up Mitchell Trubisky because he had the most bright side of all the.
Well, you're an idiot. Oh my God! We went through all that so you could say all the Bears.
Hey, I will say.
Why didn't I just say, you know what? Screw it. I went too late. I'm not coming on the show.
Hey, Mitch
Buck,
Trubisky,
you got to give us warning when you do that to him, Buck, so I can get 911 on speed dial.
see, boom, hit the floor.
I hate you guys.
All right, well, take back over, man. Sorry, I kind of just had to get that question in there just to poke the bear a little bit.
Yeah, no. So we heard from Combs. I kind of want to toss to Tori real quick. Just quick, Tori, so we can move on to the next thing here. What do you think about the whole numbers situation?
I like it. It lets the guys, gives them a little more latitude, gives them a little. The one thing that we had talked a little bit pre-show, and it evens things out. NFL was always let's get more scoring, let's get more scoring, let's get more scoring. This evens things out a little bit for me on the defensive side of the ball. So it's about time that they finally did something for defensive players. If it's going to screw up a quarterback, great, because that means that a defensive play is probably going to be made. I am okay with that because I like watching the quarterback just get railroaded.
Would Patrick Mahomes be worse if he was number 5 instead of number 15? Would Tom Brady be worse if he was number 3 instead of number 12?
Yes, because Russell Wilson sucks.
It's actually funny. They're polar opposites. Tom Brady always starts out slow at the beginning of the year and then gets red hot at the end. And then you've got Russ, who's like red hot at the beginning and gets cold right at the end. Like, they are polar opposites, actually, when you think about it. But speaking of polar opposites, Buck, can you bring up the clip here for us? So we had a pretty interesting situation for the Pacers in Spurs game. Samson pulls off a headbutt here. We'll pick it up for you so you can see this for our radio viewers. If you're listening on Big X, go to YouTube and check this out because it is something of beauty, in my opinion. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, the question here is, Buck's pulling this up. He got a 1-game suspension, and after we review the tape here, do you think that he should get more of a suspension? So here we see it. Starts headbutting back and forth. The little scuffle happens. And on. I would like to say here, those two female refs looked that up more than the male refs did. I would like to point that out first.
They did.
They did a great job. Heck yeah to them. But we'll see this come back around. I'm sure they'll replay it here. You can see the headbutt. Buck, go to the end and see if there's a close up on the headbutt. I think there is.
Stop yelling at me.
You don't know me. You don't know my life. Stop telling me what to do.
You don't know my name. I mean, just kind of back and forth here. I mean, we see the Pacers doing this a lot.
That's
Pacers
not even a
always.
headbutt.
That's not a headbutt. He just put his head in his face.
He nudges at him twice. But anyways,
he's 9 feet taller than the guy.
Yeah, well, he gets a 1-game suspension for it. So my question to you guys is, over under the 1-game suspension, do you think he should have got less? Do you think he should have got more? Or do you think 1 game is just right? Tori, take it away on this one, sir.
I'm taking even money on that one. It was barely even. Like, once you showed it, it was more of a shove. It wasn't like, what was the soccer dude that walked up to the guy and just wham, just straight up headbutted the guy in the face. Just
stumped him. I mean, pop. No,
yeah. This was I'm the man. I am okay with 1 game on that.
If that was LeBron, he would have been laying on the ground.
Oh my God,
Here we go.
He would have been flailing and been out at half court,
like
and on the ground, holding his face.
You ever seen those little gifs where the guy's like joking around and he's spinning the girl around, then all of a sudden he just flies out into orbit? That would have been LeBron right there. LeBron would have got headbutted, and LeBron would have just got.
Here come all the boomers. Like back in my day, they used to take sledgehammers to him in the middle of the road, man.
So we're not old enough to be boomers. We're Generation X.
Okay, sorry. Here comes the Gen X
guy.
You know
what that means? It means I got two words for you.
Sledgehammers and ride them across her face.
Tori, you are not a Gen X. You're like 80 years old, man. Get out of here.
I know. I'm a Gen Xer.
You are like on the very start of it then. Like,
hold on. We did this one time. Combs is 1 year out being a millennial. Combs is only 1 year away from being a millennial. He's only 1 year into Gen X.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get back to this headbutt thing. First things first. I cannot believe you guys are dogging LeBron James like this just because, like,
why would y'all put some respect on the GOAT's
James
name?
A clown. To hell with LeBron James and everything LeBron James
first of all,
thinks that he is.
I agree with you that right now. We're not going to get into that whatsoever, but that guy is stricken from my Twitter feed ever again. But,
I don't know who LeBron is, but his name is Lesuck.
Jeez. But anytime that you, quote, headbutt a guy, I mean, you have to at least get 5 or 6 games. This was not a head. So if you guys watch that clip, I mean, like he like jumps up in his face and like kind of just like leans forward, you know, like he was going to like just headbutt him, like you know when like a guy like you know, like fake like I want to punch you, like that's kind of like what it was. He just wanted to like flinch, and then I always love that. Like out of all those clips, they always put their hands up. It wasn't me, dude. We clearly saw you.
Sounds like Shaggy out here.
You're right. Yeah. So me. First of all, I don't like the suspension at all. Like I don't think you should ever get suspended for being passionate about your sport. Just because if you watch that game was chippy from the start. Like they were going at each other. Like this was like playoff atmosphere.
I heard somebody say it should have been more because of COVID and he shouldn't have been that. First of all, these guys are sweating on each other. These guys are guarding one another. Do you think they don't get close whenever they're posting up? Closer they are, yeah. So it's stupid. The suspension is stupid. The NBA is stupid.
The best brawl ever still was the brawl at the Palace.
The Malice at the Palace, baby.
And even then, I don't
like. You want to learn how to headbutt a guy? You go talk to Ron Artest.
Exactly, Ron Artest.
Meta World Peace.
Yeah, Meta World. Yeah, Meta World Peace. Now,
even then, so
Go ahead, bud.
Hang on. Let me ask you guys this. Like, what is a more disrespectful thing? Is it a little smack on the balls or is it like a headbutt? Like, what is more disrespectful?
Ooh, I think it's a hit on the balls.
I know what you're talking about.
If you get hit in the nuts, like, I mean, you're down and out for a little bit.
Are you talking about like the walk by nut tap? Like,
yeah. Like I don't know about you guys, but I have always felt like
thinking about it.
I have always thought to myself, like, it hurts worse whenever you get a gentle tap rather than if you get like hit hard in the nuts. Like, I think it hurts worse the lighter that you go. So I think a nut tap would be more disrespectful.
That's racist. You can't say that.
That's what's racist about it.
The lighter that you go, that's racist.
Everything I say, you guys are like, oh, that's racist. Like I'm talking about a dead horse at the Kentucky Derby, and you are like, oh, that's racist to horses.
It was a black horse.
It was a brown horse.
Sorry. Back on track. Headbutt or bip? I got to go with the headbutt. Is a lot more disrespectful. Just because like you're like up in their face and you're like, you are nothing but an MF or yada yada. See ya, whatever. And bam. Like
what if it's a nut tap to Caitlyn Jenner? Is that more disrespectful?
Yikes.
That would be sexual harassment, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, she's got nuts.
She had nuts.
Okay, moving on now. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles before we get canceled. You're welcome, guys. I just saved this show. So the Eagles are sitting at the 12th overall pick, And everybody knows the quarterback situation there. They've got Joe Flacco, and of course they have Jalen Hurts. They just got rid of Carson Wentz. There's always a drama-filled thing with the Philadelphia Eagles and a quarterback, whether if it's Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, Jalen Hurts and Nick Foles, Jalen Hurts and Joe Flacco, whoever it may be. There's always going to be some kind of a drama-filled situation. So with that being said, the Eagles sitting at 12, should they draft a quarterback do you think that they have seen enough to know what they are getting from Jalen Hurts? And if so, will they draft a quarterback at that 12th overall pick?
I mean, it depends on who falls there. There's going to be, I mean, you would have to think one of these quarterbacks is going to fall. Is it going to be Fields after, coming out and saying that he's battling epilepsy? Is it going to be...
I think he will lose a lot of draft stock for that. I really do.
Be if Trey Lance is there, I mean, it'd almost be silly to not take a chance right there with Trey Lance. Like, I feel like if you're the Eagles, you've got to do something because, and I said this last year, even when Jalen Hurts was winning, I said Jalen Hurts is the answer right now, but he's not the answer long term. Jalen Hurts is not a starting quarterback in this league. If I'm the Eagles GM, I'm making the move. But I don't think it just depends on who's available. I mean, what if all these guys are gone, then there's nobody there for them to know they're not going quarterback. But if one of these guys drops, if Trey Lance is still there or Justin Fields is still there, yeah, absolutely.
Tori?
I don't think any of the quarterbacks are going to be there. I will just about put money on it that if a quarterback starts to slide, the Lions have said that they would move back. The Cowboys have said they would move back. Those picks are going to be up for grabs. If you want
the Panthers even said they were going to move back.
Yeah, because they're at 8?
Yeah, they're at 8.
So yeah, they said they
Denver
would.
Denver at 9 said they would too. Sorry, go ahead, buddy.
I think Denver though would create. I don't think they're entirely sold on Drew Lock as being the long-term answer because Elway has no clue when it comes to drafting a quarterback because he's not done very well at all. But I don't honestly, if they don't make a move to get up into the top 10, I don't see any of the quarterbacks falling to them that they would potentially want. At least not in the first round, unless you're going to take a chance on Mac Jones. But Mac and Zach are both trash.
Well, first off, Tori, I got to debunk your mystery here, okay? You said that John Elway sucks at drafting quarterbacks, all right? Paxton Lynch out of Memphis, okay, he was a beast. And then Drew Lock, he's a Hall of Famer already? No, I'm just kidding. No, he has really been really bad at it, actually. But Combs, sir, you were saying something. Go ahead.
He hasn't given his guys a chance yet to prove themselves. They always get chipped out of town or they get benched. Stupid.
No, I was just really shaking my head at Tori because Tori's over there to talk. Mac and Zach are trash. You're out of your mind.
Mac Jones is trash. Zach is not. What? Zach is not trash. Mac Jones is Mac and Zach trash. Are trash.
We had this conversation the other night, Wyatt. Mac Jones won the national title, correct? Who did he beat to win that national title?
Justin Fields and Ohio State.
Okay, who did Justin Fields and Ohio State beat to get to the title game?
Trevor Lawrence and Clemson.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So does that mean that Travis Etienne's going to be a bust? Does that mean that Travis Etienne's going to be a bust? He played for Clemson. They lost.
Running backs are a dime a dozen, so he might be one of those players who come in and have a good couple of seasons.
So what you're telling me is if somebody doesn't win a national championship, you basically write them off and they're not a good quarterback.
What?
Well, you keep.
So
go ahead, Buck.
Pause here. I get what you're saying here, Wyatt. Combs, did Jalen Hurts win a national championship?
No.
Yeah, he did with Alabama,
yes,
right?
He did.
Yes, he did.
Did he?
Yeah.
He was hurt. He was hurt when Tua took over. Or no, he got benched and Tua took over in the title game, and Tua led him to the title.
But anyway,
Tua led him to the title, not Jalen Hurts.
Does he have a national championship ring?
Oh my God! Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So does the water boy from that season, but that's okay.
But so the answer to that question is yes. So basically, by your terminology, what you just said, that the Eagles should not take a quarterback at all because they have Jalen Hurts.
That's not what. First of all, Jalen Hurts was not the quarterback of the national title game. He lost
did
the
he
starting
start the
spot
national
to Tua.
championship game? Yes or no?
Yes, he did.
No, he started. He started that game. He got benched at half.
Right, he got benched because he was playing
hurt.
awful,
He
and
was
then
hurt.
he had to get rescued.
He was also and like Buck said, he was hurt. He was hurt going into that game.
Hold on. And also, Tua didn't really rescue anybody. Tua had one good pass, and it happened to be the game winner to Devonta Smith.
You're right. Trevor Lawrence is God. Let's just, we don't even have to.
No.
Let's just.
We're not saying he's
Jaguars,
God.
just give him the Super Bowl trophy because Jacksonville is getting Trevor Lawrence, and he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So
let me just go ahead and build up this platform to knock it down. Get out of here with that. Ready? Are you guys ready?
Ready.
If the Eagles draft a quarterback, that would be the dumbest thing that they've ever done in entire life. Why? What are the Eagles missing on their offensive side of the ball?
Literally everything.
a quarterback.
Except for running back.
They're wishing wide receivers.
Yes, they're missing wide receivers.
They're missing wide receivers. They need to draft a wide receiver at number 12. It is.
You guys watched Jalen Hurts last year, and you think that he is a quality quarterback in this league?
I think if you get some good receivers,
Buck did pick the Eagles to win the NFC East when you guys did the predictions after everything.
Oh man!
I don't think that Jalen.
I can't wait to play fantasy
think we've
football
seen
with you guys with all the players you guys think are good.
I don't think we've seen Jalen though. Jalen hasn't started a full year. Jalen struggled a little bit, but Jalen also struggled because of there was drama with Doug Peterson. You know, he doesn't have an O-line. He was running for his life every play. He doesn't have a wide receivers. He's got a decent
adversity in the NFL at the quarterback position. You're not going to make it. If the adversity from all the talk here and all the talk there, you play quarterback in Philadelphia, there's going to be talk every single game you play. And if you can't handle the talk of the controversy with Carson Wentz, then you're not going to make it.
There wasn't just controversy in Philly. Everybody knew of the controversy going on with Doug Peterson. This was not just in Philadelphia. This was all around the world. Like, all around the world of sports, everybody knew that it was a SH show in Philadelphia. That was a common theme. Carson Wentz literally said, God, Buck. Carson Wentz literally said, our relationship is unredeemable with Doug Peterson. Then they're like, okay, we got to get rid of Doug to keep Carson. Then they're like, okay, we got to get rid of Carson. The front office in Philadelphia is terrible. It is horrendous. And I don't think their coaching staff is much better. I really don't. Did you guys see their head coach get up on the podium yesterday and start talking? He started talking about rock, paper, scissors and stuff that had nothing to do with football. It's like, what are you doing? So I think
the thing, he already said it's going to be an open quarterback competition.
Honestly,
so if you're sold on Jalen Hurts as your starting quarterback, you're not coming out and saying, "Yeah, we're going to have an open quarterback competition." Right there tells you they're going to do something. They're going to make a move, or they are legitimate. I don't even know who the quarterback on their
Eagles
roster
don't
is.
even believe in Jalen Hurts as a starting quarterback.
No. Is it because Jalen Hurts didn't play the coach in rock, paper, scissors?
I think so. I really do. But hey, speaking of rock, paper, scissors, we've got Shop Talk. I don't know where I was going with that, but we've got Shop Talk coming up right after the break.
Neither do we.
Because I was a nationally ranked rock, paper, scissors player.
Yes, because Tori was the nationally ranked rock, paper, scissors player. But anyway, speaking of, we'll be right back on Man Hour. Be sure to drop a comment, whatever you want to talk about, life, sports.
You're
it doesn't
nationally ranked moron.
We'll talk about it.
We will not be talking about LeBron James.
We will not be talking. Yeah, let's steer away from politics. We'll see you back here in 2 minutes.
I'll talk about it.
Will you? She gone.
That'll bring us to the 2-minute warning.
Shop talk. You see it there in front of you. Wyatt Williams, Michael Buckheister, Tori Anderson, and Brandon, the meatball, BC Combs, here with you.
Be sure to like and subscribe. Again, I'm going to throw punch you.
Be sure to like and subscribe. You're listening to us on Big X Radio. We're on there Monday through Friday. And yeah, we're here live on YouTube right now. And we've got some shop talk. So always, you guys see anything on here we want to talk about? Tori, he's been really chiming in on the comment section tonight. We'll see what he has to say. Aren't hear anything, and he could have just said, "Hey guys, let's talk about this." But it's fine. It's fine. Tori Anderson comments and says, "Are the Bucks the best team in the East after throttling the Sixers tonight?" Well, Tori, no, they are not.
Nobody wants to talk NBA.
You're on crack.
Not even the guys in the NBA want to talk about the NBA.
Both of you.
Do you think they're the best team in the East right now because of this?
No, I think that Budenholzer may actually have made adjustments. And now's the time of year. You got 3 weeks left in the season. Teams are going to start tuning up to head into the playoffs.
Well, the game that I'm really liking is the Lakers and Mavericks game. That one, of course, you got Luka Doncic and everybody in company for those two great teams. But hey, speaking of the 76ers, did you guys see Joel Embiid's full court shot that literally went in and out of the rim, 2 nights ago against the Suns?
Yeah.
There was 0.8 seconds on the clock. Chris Paul misses the free throw. Joel Embiid grabs it and throws it over his head and full court, and it goes in and out. It was so close to going in for them to win the game. But would have been awesome, but no, I don't think.
Drops
and I think that the
2% instead of 4%.
Do what?
That drops his 3-point shooting percentage down to 2% instead of.
And as me, Gene Okerlund used to say, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yep.
Absolutely, but I don't necessarily think that they're the top team in the East. I think they're going to be a contention for it. The team that I think everybody is really sleeping on in the East, 2 teams actually, the Heat and the Celtics. I think both of those teams are set to have a deep playoff run. I don't think they'll go to the finals. I think that's the Nets. The Nets are the best team in the East right now.
No.
They're going to the finals.
No.
But
no.
Why not?
How many games has their stacked roster played together there, Wyatt?
That don't matter. Come playoff time, they'll all be together and they'll average 140 points.
Who is going to be the man to take that last second shot?
KD. Any of them, actually. Kyrie can take it.
You have to have
Harden
a man
can take
to
it. KD can take it.
We saw it with the Miami Heat that first year with LeBron James and Wade.
Is Harden going to get back on the court?
You have to have a man.
I think so. I think he's coming back right before the playoffs. I'm pretty sure.
Leg contusion or whatever he has.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. 100% brittle.
He's got a contusion, all right.
The team that you're sleeping on is the Knicks out of the East, man. 8 straight wins.
I think the Knicks are a good team. I really do. I just think that they're missing. I think they're missing a significant piece. I think it's like a guard, maybe. I don't know. Julius Randle is really showing out here recently. Julius Randle, like. He reminds me. He's literally like Derrick Henry. That's why I like to compare him to. The beginning of his career, he was just average, and then just like all of a sudden decided that he was like one of the top players in the league. Like that's what Derrick Henry did. Derrick Henry was just kind of an average running back for the beginning part of his career.
You guys completely overlooked the fact that Tori just wanted to talk about a Milwaukee team.
Drink,
and you went right into it.
Hey, it's a good topic, and a lot of people are sleeping on the East.
The bait you throw out there.
It's a good topic. He didn't even believe it.
The Nets are. Jameson says the Nets are injury prone and can't stay healthy. Harden is a postseason choker.
You are 100% correct. Chicken dinner.
You're 100% correct. But here's the deal: if those big three are healthy, they're averaging 140 a night, and you find one team in the East that'll average 140 a night.
Milwaukee.
You won't. Milwaukee doesn't have a 3-point game to keep up with that. They just don't.
That's all they have on their team is 3-point shooters. Our offense for the Milwaukee Bucks is literally let Giannis take it to the lane. As soon as the defense collapses, kick it out to whoever's open and shoot a 3. That is like literally the entire offense.
Sounds like LeBron. That is not the entire.
Tell me we weren't talking
not,
about LeBron.
Their specialty. There are two teams in this league that are specialized in three, and that is the Warriors when they're fully healthy with the Splash Brothers, and that is the Nets. Those two teams are the two specialized three groups in this league. The Milwaukee Bucks, sure, they take a good amount of threes.
About LeBron.
Do what?
We weren't talking about LeBron's politics. We can talk about LeBron because he's a good. LeBron's greatest player of all time.
The Bucks set the record for most 3-pointers in a game this year.
That's great. One game you had a good 3-point performance. That doesn't mean that your entire scheme is a 3-point game.
Hey, so
you
Jameson
never watched the Bucks game.
So Jameson says that the Nets have no rim defense. They let everybody in the door.
Jameson.
No, once again,
they have DeAndre Jordan in that.
Jameson, here's a news flash for you. In the NBA, nobody has any defense. Period.
Come playoff time, defense kicks it up. I mean, I will say that, but I mean, of course, it's not what it once was. I mean, we all know that it was a defensive league, but the older times wasn't the offensive league that it is today. So I think it balanced itself out, but. You are 100% right. The Nets do not have any defense really at all. But here's the thing. Like I said earlier, if you're averaging 140 points a night, who's going to match you in a 7-game series? Night for night. Who's going to do it? Nobody. Nobody in the East. Somebody in the West will.
Because you run into a team that plays defense well, you're not averaging 140 points a night because you're turning the ball over. You're missing shots because they got people in your face.
Do you want to make a bet that the Nets make it? If everybody stays healthy on that team.
I will bet you right now we will last dab it.
If everybody on the Nets is healthy the whole way through the playoffs, they will make the finals. Do you want to make a bet on that?
That the Nets don't make the final?
Yes. You're saying if everybody on their team is healthy the whole way through the finals, they still won't make it.
No. You said the Nets are going to the finals.
I just said if everybody on that team is healthy. Buck and Combs, didn't I just say that?
You know,
that's why you waffle around.
You know Wyatt doesn't stick by anything he says. You're not going to lure him into a bet for one. And he hedges his bets. And he hedges his bets too.
I know. I don't make bets because every time I go to make a bet, you are like, shave your head.
If they're all healthy and there's a full moon on the third night in August.
What is wrong with that? If they're all healthy, if 3 players are healthy, if the big 3 is healthy. That's all. That's the only thing I'm saying.
If the big 3 is healthy, so therefore you know they're not going to be healthy. So therefore you know that you have an out on the bet. No, put your money where your mouth is. Just take the bet. Say the Nets are going to the finals, I will. If
Kyrie's got to carry this team, hold on. I've seen this riddle way too many times. If Kyrie is at the helm for this team, they're not doing anything. Okay, it's that simple. But if all 3 are healthy and all 3 are playing, they're winning finals, and they might win it. They might actually win it. You heard it here. Wyatt is possibly picking against LeBron James.
Wyatt is possibly picking the next guys.
Possibly picking until tomorrow.
But might not, and possibly, and then if maybe.
I gotta see how LeBron comes back and if he's healthy or not.
Oh, yeah.
LeBron, he's the best player in the league. That would make a huge difference for the roster.
It will. He's right on that, but. Jameson did come out and say that KD and both Harden are out indefinitely, so they'll miss the whole
they'll be back for the playoffs. I promise you. I see this story every year.
Playoffs. They're both soccer players. They fall down and they pretend like they're hurt so that they can rest before the playoffs, and then they come back and then they suck because they're cold and they're rusty.
Right here,
the
you
Nets
go.
are not going
if
to the
they're 100%
NBA finals.
healthy, they will win.
No,
yes,
they won't.
Jameson, you're 100% correct.
No,
Who is going to stop them? Who is going to stop
them?
They're
going to win they're going to win. So they're going to win the NBA championship.
I don't know yet. I really don't.
Oh, of course.
I'm saying they'll make the finals.
I don't even know why I asked you.
If they're 100% healthy, they'll make the finals. That's what I said. When did I not say that?
Okay, so let me ask you this real question here. Let's go ahead and skip off a basketball here. The real question of the night is who is going to, if I can freaking find it here. Where's it at here? There it is. Who wins a ring first? Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, or Lamar Jackson? Tori, give me an answer before we go to
Josh Allen.
Combs?
I would go with Josh Allen as well.
Why though? Like, why are you guys picking Josh Allen?
Because I think Josh Allen has most around him.
Okay. Yeah, they've got they're the most complete team out right now of all those 3 guys right now.
And we all know Lamar's trash, right, Buck?
Facts. Wyatt, who you gonna pick?
Baker Mayfield, baby.
We don't care who you're gonna pick. He's gonna waffle around the answer anyways. Sheesh, this guy. Combs, send us out.
Man, our nation. Rise up.
After show, start now. Enjoy.